Hello, congratulations on your decision to study abroad on a College of Charleston faculty-led program. We hope that you are excited for this experience and we believe you will gain many benefits from it. Regardless of whether or not this is your first or fifth time traveling abroad, this presentation is essential for your preparations as a College of Charleston study abroad participant. Please pay attention closely and take notes as you follow along with the video. This information is meant as a supplement to your coursework and meetings with your program director. Your program director is the best resource for program-specific questions. In the next couple of slides, we will go over a few suggestions on how to prepare for your experience abroad. First of all, what have you researched about the locations you are visiting? Do you know who the head of state is? What important events are going on currently? How are the relations between the host country and the U.S.? Do you know what currency they use, and what is the exchange rate with the US dollar? You can find out this information by reading local newspapers and doing research on the internet. Also, your CFC faculty leader is a great resource for you, as oftentimes he or she has spent a significant amount of time or is from the location you will be visiting. We also suggest that you make any routine doctor or dentist appointments before you go. If you've been meaning to have that teeth cleaning or yearly exam, do it now before you leave the US. It is best to avoid any emergency medical issues that could have been prevented or addressed before you leave. Are you up to date with your routine immunizations, or are there any immunizations that are recommended for the region you are visiting? We recommend that you follow up with Student Health Services if you have any questions on immunizations prior to travel. Another essential step to preparing yourself for your experience is to ensure that you have your important documents in order. We recommend that you create 2 emergency files containing airline tickets, copy of your passport picture page, your copy of your driver's license, your blood type, copy of prescriptions for medications, credit card information for any cards you plan on using while you are abroad, your doctor and dentist contact information, and your primary insurance information as well as your overseas insurance. Leave one emergency file at home with a parent or other trusted individual in case they need to access it. We also recommend that you provide the program itinerary, travel plans, and your contact information while you are abroad with this individual in case they need to reach you. What to bring? Any seasoned traveler can tell you that if you pack too much or do not pack the right items, you could be quite unhappy while traveling. While your program director is the best resource for what you should be packing, the following tips should help. Bring as little as possible. You'll be responsible for carrying your luggage around, so make sure you can handle your luggage. Also, leave extra room in your luggage when you pack. If you pack your luggage so full that you can barely zip it, you'll be kicking yourself when you come home and are trying to fit in new purchases. Your attire should reflect the activities you are participating in. Make sure to pay attention to the program itinerary to determine what kind of clothes you will need to bring. We cannot stress enough that you should bring a comfortable pair of walking shoes. You may be walking more than you're used to, and it is no fun to have sore feet after the first day. Your schedule will be very busy, and you may not be able to go back to your room during the day, so make sure to bring a day pack that can hold what you will need each day. Choose a bag that has a zipper enclosure and can be worn under your arm or in the front to avoid being targeted by pickpockets. Check the weather forecast a couple days before you go. We always recommend packing rain gear even if there is only the slightest chance of rain. Each airline has their own baggage allowance policy, so it is important to check the airline's website for the regulations. Some airlines allow 1 free checked luggage with your seat, but others are more strict and will charge for even 1 checked luggage. Money matters. A common question that we receive in the CIE is how to access money and pay for things while abroad. We suggest taking multiple forms of payment to ensure you always have access to funds. Take a debit ATM card and a credit card if you have one. It is extremely important to notify your bank and credit card company that you'll be traveling outside of the U.S. Most national banks have an online notification form where you can indicate your dates of travel and which locations you are traveling to, but when in doubt, call the number on the back of your card. If you do not notify your bank that you will be abroad, they may think that fraudulent activity has occurred and they will freeze your account. You should plan on using more cash than you do in the U.S. While credit cards are widely used, there are still many vendors that only accept cash. Most countries now have ATMs throughout the city that are easy to use and have instructions in English. Some students are surprised by the fees that they incur while withdrawing cash or when using their credit cards. When you do take out cash, please keep in mind that you may incur ATM fees for using another bank's ATM. Contact your bank to see if there are any partner banks where you'll be, as in some cases the partner banks will waive the fees. With most credit cards, you'll incur international transaction fees for each transaction that you make. Another important aspect to consider is the exchange rate. This rate can change daily, so take out cash if you notice the dollar becoming stronger against the foreign currency. Lastly, while we know how tempting it is to buy things you will not be able to find in the US, we recommend that you make a budget for your spending money beforehand and stick to it. It is easy to get wrapped up in the newness of everything and lose track of what you are spending, especially when you need to consider additional fees and exchange rates. Health concerns. You can never be too prepared to handle a health issue while you're abroad. If you have health insurance in the US, make sure to have this information with you. In addition, overseas emergency insurance is included in your program's fee, and we will go more in depth regarding this insurance on the next slide. If you have not yet determined whether there are additional immunizations recommended for your study abroad location, we recommend that you follow up with Student Health Services. You may also find more information on recommended immunizations on the Center for Disease Control website, cdc.gov. Another potential health concern is the availability of clean drinking water. In some parts of the world, tap water is unsafe to drink. Heed your program's director's instructions on whether or not it is safe to drink water from the tap. For those of you that are on prescription medications, make sure you are taking the entire supply you will need for the time that you are abroad. Pack this medication in your carry-on luggage in case your checked luggage is lost in transit. If you have a favorite over-the-counter drug that you prefer while you are sick, like ibuprofen or Pepto-Bismol, we recommend that you take it with you. While your location may have an equivalent drug, it is more convenient to have it on hand. Lastly, talk to your program director if you have any medical concerns. The program director will have the information you provided on the health questionnaire in case of an emergency, and you should feel comfortable to go to them for support. Overseas emergency medical insurance. All students participating in CFC programs are enrolled in an overseas emergency medical insurance provided by Cultural Insurance Services International, or CISI. Your coverage will include basic emergency medical coverage as well as medical evacuation should you need to be transported out of the country. This insurance also covers repatriation of remains should a student pass away while abroad. Should an emergency situation occur in a country, such as a natural disaster or political uprising, and the Department of State deems the location to be unsafe for U.S. citizens, there is an additional security rider to take all participants out of the country to the nearest, safest location. Once you are enrolled in CISI, you will receive an insurance card as well as directions on how to log into mycisi.com to find a schedule of benefits and a claim form should you need to file a claim for a medical expense. Safety while abroad. The following 2 slides will go over safety tips for your time abroad. Safety should be one of your primary concerns while you are abroad. You will be in unfamiliar settings with different laws, streets, and oftentimes a different language. All CFC program participants are registered in the U.S. Department of State's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP. This is a database for the State Department so that they have a registry of all U.S. citizens in a particular location. Your program director will give you an orange emergency card to carry with you at all times. On one side of the card, there will be lines for you to enter the local emergency information, such as local 911 number, the U.S. Embassy phone number, and contact information for your lodging. On the other side, you will see the emergency contact information for CFC. Please call if you become separated from your program director and need help. You can also list your program director's contact information. Again, we urge you to keep this emergency card with you at all times. With the proliferation of Wi-Fi in many countries, most of you should be able to use your smartphones when in Wi-Fi signal. We also encourage you to see how much your cell phone company charges for temporary international access. Your program director should have your phone number so that they may reach you at any point. Also, make sure your phone is always fully charged. Many of the other safety tips are basic common sense that you'd use in any location, even here in Charleston. You should always be alert and pay attention to your surroundings. If you're looking down at a map or at your cell phone, you won't be paying attention to what is going on around you. Try to blend in as much as possible. Also, it is recommended that you never go out alone, especially at night. In general, taxis are the safest transportation option when out at night. Look for taxis that are marked on the outside with the company name and make sure they have a functioning meter. If you travel away from the program during free time, do not travel solo. Make sure to inform your program director of your whereabouts and contact information so they know how to reach you, and also let them know of your itinerary. If you ever feel unsafe, say something. One of your program director's primary responsibilities on this program is your safety. They are equipped to help you and provide you with the resources that are needed. An additional aspect to your safety involves the choices you make while abroad. Your personal safety while abroad in part depends on you. We understand that studying abroad is an exciting, once-in-a-lifetime experience. However, you need to exercise personal caution. Consider that you are a participant in a College of Charleston sponsored program. Even though you are abroad, you are still under CFC's Student Code of Conduct. Any poor decision could either negatively impact you or, in worst-case scenario, negatively impact the entire group. Your program director can tell you their procedures for students who are misbehaving. Infractions against the Student Code of Conduct could come back to the Office of Student Affairs. In extreme cases, a student who is misbehaving could be sent home early on his or her own expense. Alcohol also plays a role in your study abroad experience. For some of you, you'll be traveling to a country where you are now of legal drinking age. We urge you to consider not only how excessive drinking could impact your participation, but how it could also impair your judgment in an unfamiliar environment. Listen to your program director's guidelines when it comes to your free time and the accessibility to alcohol. While we understand that a major role of a study abroad program is to have fun, do remember the word study in studying abroad. Do not ruin your experience by having too much fun and inhibiting your ability to engage in meaningful learning experiences. Here are some final tips to keep in mind. It is important for you not to walk around with your passport in your possession. Instead, keep a copy of your passport with you in case you need it and leave your actual passport in a safe place in your room. Do make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Take a look at a map before heading out and study as much as possible so that you have a general idea of where you're headed and where you came from. Do be sensitive to how they dress in the host location. Clothing that is too revealing will make you stick out. Also be sensitive to the appropriate dress when you go into certain places, such as churches. Do take a look at the weather forecast for when you will be abroad. You want to make sure you are packing according to weather or you may be miserable. And lastly, do keep in mind that you will be seen as an ambassador for not only our college, but for our country. Keep in mind of this fact when you go out, and don't act in a way that would put yourself or the group or the college in jeopardy. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us at the CIE. We hope you have a safe and enjoyable time during your study abroad program.